I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. When we were on, I'd always
Hello and welcome to the Smite Draft League. We have Godlike division in front of us today. We've got Oathkeepers versus Dark Omen, left and right respectively. I'm Anthony Malum. KingFsher is alongside me today, and let's start talking picks and bans.
And I'd be really interested, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, patch notes have been out. Everybody knows what changes are coming up this Tuesday. Do you think that that's kind of going to influence anything we see in game? Obviously, I mean, players have had access to PTS and stuff. Do you think that might change the meta as players kind of start to prep for the new season?
Had I not casted, had I not cast Godlike recently and seen a Cerberus, as well as seeing a Hell, I probably would be inclined to say no, but with what I've seen, I think it's not out of the realm of possibility. I think it's definitely something these guys are considering. Maybe not so much in Godlike, because I feel like they're more inclined to do the fun things anyway, but I mean, at a certain point, when it comes to Godlike, what do we know?
That's true. Godlike is a mixed bag. You can never really know what's gonna happen. But the one thing that will happen, and always should, is a Surtur ban. I mean, the God's way too strong right now. I think he saw a slight nerf in one of the recent patches, but it really hasn't done anything to slow the Fire Giant down. Just absolutely ravaging that solo lane.
hmm
So I think probably a smart ban here by Oathkeepers.
Yeah, I keep kind of harping on you're banning the unknown. All we know about Surtur still is he's a lane bully with a really good ultimate in End of Days. But aside from that, you don't know what to expect. So getting rid of it and securing at least a good amount of lane pressure, almost no matter who you pick, is a nice play. I will say banning the Sasano from Ratmilk was smart, but I want to talk about we talk a lot about Ratmilk's obvious skill a lot, but we haven't talked about is how Ratmilk impacts picks and bans. I think Ratmilk may be the hyper extreme example of what we see in Immortal when it comes to Lucent. We talk about how the Yemoja is almost a bait because you ban Yemoja, Lucent's going to play Khepri. You ban Yemoja and Khepri, there's still more characters after that. I think Ratmilk is the perfect example because you could ban Sasano, Pele, Clea, and Hoombots, and Ratmilk can probably still play something that can dominate you. So it's a really awkward spot for not just Oathkeepers, but anyone who goes against Dark Omen in general to be in.
And I mean, it's almost easier for us to analyze up here, but when you're in game, I mean, realistically, what do? Like you said, you could act like Lucen's Umoja, kind of just ban out the top picks. It doesn't matter. I mean, I think in that case, it almost makes more sense to kind of ban out the top junglers in the meta, maybe over his specific comfort picks.
hmm
Because, I mean, I don't think it matters what god Ratmilk is on. He performs the same on nearly all of them. You're not going to be able to shut him down in picks and bans. So I think just kind of limiting the damage that he can do to you with a specific god is definitely the way to play it.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect way of describing the issue he's seeing. I do like the Maui ban coming out. I feel like we've seen not enough Maui bans when we've seen every single game that Maui isn't banned. He's in one of the first two selections. So I'm looking for more Maui bans, if anything, especially with the next patch, as you mentioned. There was no touches to Maui that I'm aware of. So I'm looking for teams to start prioritizing that as a ban because say what you will, whatever your personal thoughts on the character, the reality is the character is performing spectacularly well.
Really is, and I think probably has overtaken maybe Ares in my mind as one of, if not the most aggressive support. I mean, sure, you can peel with Maui, but if you have a Maui on your team, you're just absolutely running towards the enemy. And there's not a whole ton they can do to stop you, and maybe now people are preparing for the next patch as a Terra being hovered. I think Genetic sent out a tweet on this recently, got a lot of her heal reduced in the upcoming one, but gained a lot of mitigations, a lot of utility. And that aside, Tiamat also, I feel like it has been weeks since I've seen the Tiamat.
Yeah, and to your credit, you've been in a bit less games this week, and this has been the week of Tiamat. It feels like so far in week 4, and we saw Sleepy run it in the Eclipse set, which was very well executed and was dominant. We've seen it a few times in the lower division games, but admittedly to less impact. Zarksith comes to mind running it in ADC, but I love Tiamat into godlike games. My reason being, and I think of characters like Vulcan. If you could think of like a Paul Vulcan, where there's a lot of untapped potential in Tiamat that your average player isn't aware of. You bring a character like that into the upper echelon divisions, and you can unlock all the potential of the character. Same can be said for like a Chiron.
And Chiron, not normally a pick I'm used to seeing, because I would assume that this is going to be an ADC Chiron. Tiamat ADC, not necessarily one I'm expecting in this set. And I kind of feel mixed about Chiron. I think overall, he feels pretty good right now. The power build on ADCs is still certainly viable. Maybe doesn't feel quite as good as a normal crit build we see. That being said, a strong hunter, one that brings a lot of pressure, but it's kind of hard for me to justify this pick over something like the Rama that just got banned out, or the Ishtar that I still think is wildly undervalued in a lot of these sets. It's a really good pick, but it's not a very meta one. It's going to be interesting to see how the team kind of play around this.
Another thing I'm looking at is the Kalina pick into the Hades. I feel like Kalina's kind of really grown into her own this season almost more quickly than even when she first released. And it kind of feels like that the looming team fight presence offered between how Tear the Veil kind of splits the difference a lot of times and gives you a really good box to fight in. Well, I guess it can be a triangle to fight in, but you know what I'm saying. And then Hades is so hyper aggro in those team fights. I mean, hybrid builds are dead. We haven't really seen many people go tanky Hades. We're seeing everyone go this solo Hades and pump out the damage numbers, right? So I'm expecting the team fights here from Dark Omen to just kind of be disgusting to deal with. You got a Hades in your back line, tearing you to shreds, Pillar of Agony getting popped, and you try to react to it and kill the Hades, and oh, surprise, now Kalina's popping out of a wall and killing your back line as well.
It's definitely a really interesting dive, and a really strong one too. I mean, Kalina with all the mobility, all the ways the different abilities kind of interact in and out of the walls, she's hard to shut down. Hades with the lifesteal, also really hard to shut down. That being said, as much as I kind of like that front line, and admittedly, I've liked full damage solo laners a little bit more lately. I think in this meta they make more sense. I don't love the Sylvanas. It's another kind of aggressive pick. But if I'm the support for that team, you really want something a little bit more passive, I think. In case that this dive doesn't work out, their backline's going to be struggling if Oathkeepers manage to get the upper hand in this one.
I'll agree, but I will put out the devil's advocate point, and this is probably from casting with Dilo, of Sylvanas has a pretty decent counter initiation to Oathkeepers, because we kind of can see what they're going to go for here, right? Terra, Guan Yu, and Mercury are all going to run at you, hold W, and, Banshee Yell. If Sylvanas can get a perfect Wrath of Terra off and set up for Hades and Kalina, I think the team fights could turn, and it could be very well counter-initiated. One other thing I want to point out is Valo on the side of Oathkeepers. We saw Valo compete in the play-ins on Shabala Storm. We did not get to see, if I'm not mistaken, we did not get to see Mercury, or maybe we did. I know we saw Thor, but Valo on this Mercury, there isn't too many junglers I think can step toe-to-toe with Ratmilk at the moment, but Valo would be one of them in my mind, so I'm excited to see this matchup.
Excited to say the least, and I think you're right. I think it was a Thor and a Kalina we saw him on, but now finally get to see something different, as I think that's going to do it for us on the desk, so we will see you back in game for match number 1 between Dark Omen and Oathkeepers.
I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken always thought we would make it, but now you're gone. Baby, you're a ghost. I'm caught up in a landslide, mental on the low end. When I used to feel alive, now there's a hole in the city, can't feel shit. Where do I go? Cause I know you don't feel this. Can't catch a break for God's sakes. Feel like I'm waking up and I'm caught in the wake. Yeah, I know this is my funeral on parade. I did it to myself cause I always thought you would feel the same, and I know you don't. Drunk off the lights of a city, late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn, missing home. I know you don't. Let's hit the brakes. I'm pulling out the parachute, jumping out the plane. You had it all in front of you, nothing feels the same. It's crazy what love can do, even crazier when it's not coming back to you. You say you need space, so I gave you all the states. Every night a different place. Used to think we're getting closer, now we're drifting away. And all I can say is that I'm feeling wasted. I could get drunk off the lights of a city, late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost in Brooklyn.
Hello and welcome back. We've got a heavyweight matchup in the jungle, and that's before we even talk about the rest of the teams. I'm Anthony Malum. I got KingFsher with me. Let's do it.
And I think the rest of the team's definitely going to play an important piece of this game. I think you mentioned on the desk, the Oathkeepers dive between their 3 members, including support. It's really aggressive, and looking on to the other side, Hades and Aklina, there's going to be 2 teams that want to play really, really quick, take a lot of risks. It's exactly what I'd expect to see out of Godlike. They're players that know what they're doing, they're very mechanically sound. I think this style of play should suit them, and it's just going to be up to which team can kind of get the better jump start. It might be Valo looking over here for a level 2 gank onto the Hades. I don't see this working out. STAILUS playing pretty safe.
Yeah, Jumpstart was the plan, but it doesn't look like the option's going to be there for Valo. Just gets kind of caught looking. Silas also definitely would have taken dash second, which would have made it even tougher to really secure damage there. So it'll turn into a bit of a late gank in mid.
Late gank in mid indeed, as now Power might have stepped too far up. Valo looking for it. Power might not have the blink away.
Oh, here comes Ratmilk through the wall with the response on the Valo. Somehow Power is still alive, and Ratmilk brings down the Mercury, looking for the Tiamat too, and it's a double kill for Ratmilk. Power does fall in response, but the Cleo jumps through the wall. It makes all the difference.
Great response from the Kalina onto the double kill. Admittedly, probably shouldn't have happened. I don't think Power had a ward on that right side, so no real way of knowing, but great job delaying and pathing him towards Ratmilk instead of just kind of trying to run back under tower. I think really smartly done by the Mercury. Now Dark Omen maybe can take a bit of pressure off of all the lanes. Or duo pushed pretty far up in the moment.
A big part of that, too, was that Valo was still level 2 after peeking over to solo, and Kalina jumped through the wall at level 3. So it did have the ability difference. Now getting some poke through at level 4 as the the Harpy fight's breaking out here in the Pyro Pit. And they all go the way of Dark Omen there. And Oathkeepers getting aggressive in response and going very deep here. I'm not sure if I like that play call. They will get out safely, though.
Granted, maybe a little bit of an ambitious play call there, but they do get the beads out of Ratmilk, so definitely
That's true.
Good strat. Clean up probably the smart move, and I think both junglers kind of skip blink when beads, and I really like that start. We're kind of used to seeing junglers just go super aggressive, get the blink, get all the aggressive relics you can. TheTomcatt not going to need beads there, though, just dashes away to safety with the Terra heal. But yeah, I kind of like the new wave of junglers playing a little bit more conservatively in the early game.
Ratmilk popping into solo lane, and STAILUS finds the kill onto Bindi. Goodbye, Guan Yu. And nice response so far. Aklina rotating around the map and controlling mid and solo lane. Only lane left untouched so far has been duo, which is not what we've seen be common so far. I feel like we've seen pretty much everywhere throughout our entire season. Level 3, it's a party in duo. So different take this time. TomCatt contesting purple buff with Kaizo. TomCatt falling low. Shell comes out from Kaizo. Carlos and akat looking for the damage, but they can't quite find it on the TomCatt as Kaizo is body blocking everything, but you can't body block the alley-oops from both Sylvanas and Ishtar, and CarlosRyder finds the kill onto TomCatt.
Took a little bit longer than I would expect for that kill, but eventually do get it down all the same. And the XP going over to them, I think like you said, we're kind of used to seeing junglers gank the dual lane around when that second purple buff spawns. So kind of nice they don't have to share the XP with the Kalina. Already got herself 2 kills and an assist. And it's kind of nice to see from the junglers spreading themselves out a little bit more. Especially, I think, with that early game mid gank, we're so used to mid being kind of the role this season that just slides under the radar in the early and mid game as junglers focus on the side lanes. I think keeping the mages ahead, definitely a good strat in this one. They could be a really big difference maker with just how much they're going to get dove.
You know, and I like that approach, because if you think about it, your ADC and your support are locked in a deadlock 2v2, assuming no junglers go there. So if you can buy your time, rotate the solo, put pressure on mid, and wait to get ganks onto dual lane until the supports leave, now you've got your support helping out your mid lane. I feel like that would be the most efficient route to take. We just haven't seen it because the shield buff has been so highly valued.
Definitely would be efficient. Love not having a triple split farm whenever that may be. But now the supports are going to rotate out as they step into mid lane. The Kalina's in the wall here. Oh, they might try to go onto Bindi. I think probably the smart move to let it go here. Guan Yu still has the ultimate. A lot of CC immunity to get out of the Hades ult. But now Valo likes to play aggressive. Might be looking for a counter gank here onto Ratmilk. But I think wisely just going to truck on past, look to steal some farm, but nothing's up.
Ratmilk still hanging out in solo, committing very hard. Tear the Veil, going to miss on the first shot, but will pressure Bindi out even further. Don't expect Guan Yu to fully walk into lane in the immediate future, but Valo did get a successful invade onto the blue buff on Chaos side, and that's taken away from STAILUS. Not the worst loss on Hades, especially going with the book build, but the speed buff falling too. Do see a counter gank come out, or excuse me, counter invade come out from Dark Omen, which will replace some of that farm, but he can't give up too much more. Dark Omen now defending their red buff. Power the only one there. Valo and Kaizo very aggressive in the jungle. Ratmilk and CarlosRyder are both on the way, and they do find Valo, but he has Sonic Boom up ready to go. Kaizo, same cannot be said. Gonna be in a bit of trouble here. The pull through the wall from CarlosRyder brings Kaizo back in. Ratmilk gonna go in and get the kill. Killing spree for the jungler, and Dark Omen does manage to dissuade that jungle invade, even if they did lose a couple buffs in the process.
I think probably overall a net win there by Dark Omen. They do lose a blue buff and the yellow, but they get a blue buff and a kill on the back end. So I think XPY is probably favoring them. And really unfortunate for Oathkeepers. Bindi was on the way, maybe could have helped turn the tide with the Guan Yu ult, but unfortunately I think pathed a little bit incorrectly, went pretty high when the battle was going even deeper into their own jungle. So unfortunate, but now we're going to see a little bit of a grouping in mid of 3v2. Oh, wow, a Snorkel takes a lot of damage, but the Mercury, or Merlin, oh, wow!
Everybody's dying. CarlosRyder gets credit for the kill onto the Tiamat. Valo gets rid of the Sylvanas in response for the death of his mid laner. Power going to back up, but a nice Sonic Boom in response, but it was just too late to save the Tiamat. Kaizo does go a bit aggressive just to say hello to Power as the mana drops down, but gets back out of there. I think the big takeaway there was definitely how quickly Valo was able to get in there with Mercury, and despite what us seeing 3 kills so far on the Kalina, Valo's still doing numbers, so Dark Omen cannot really start to disrespect this Mercury. They still have to respect that it's in the game, because it's not like Mercury's that far behind.
And especially with the pathing that Valo's taken, stealing away the XP camps, really hitting all the lanes here, still leaving Duo alone, but it's a really smart way to play it. If Kalina's going to be aggressive to get into these kills, stealing as much farm away as the right move, draws a beats on the Kalina again, Ratmilk with a ton of return damage, Hades' ultimate is going to confirm it. Guan Yu alive for the moment, Bindi should be able to walk away, and a good return kill by Dark Omen.
Oh, they're going to go in. Ratmilk dives under the tier 1 tower and finds the kill onto Bindi. STAILUS was tanking. Wow. I thought for sure Guan Yu was going to get away. We did see Guan was very low in lane, which is why he did not rotate over to the cooldown buff, but I'm assuming Bindi just thought he was safer than that, and that's why he was hanging out under the tower, but it just did not work out there. Ratmilk able to punish the Guan Yu for it.
I mean, I wouldn't blame Bindi for thinking he's safe at all. I thought they were going to be safe also. I really wasn't expecting that. But really good kind of turn back in by Ratmilk. iXchar out, not able to lay in the autos onto Tomcatt.
Sonic Boom comes through onto akat after the 1v1 was a fail. Valo looking for some good damage onto akat. Gonna find it, but CarlosRyder on the rotation cleans the kill onto CarlosRyder. Kaizo and Tiamat both on the way for the counter rotation, but I think CarlosRyder should be plenty safe here. Maybe not. Valo does dash in with a special delivery, and Carlos is falling low. Two-man root, but should just delay the inevitable. Maybe not, actually. They're still chasing. There it is. The nature look gets the kill. Carlos surviving way longer than he had any right to.
Surviving and thriving over there in the duo lane, but finally does fall anyway. And I gotta say, I'm a little bit surprised akat wasn't able to confirm that kill onto the Chiron in the first end there. I think missed a couple of autos as that fight began. Maybe could have been a little bit easier transition out there for Dark Omen. But all the same, I feel like objectives, it's always something we talk about, and we're kind of used to seeing these godlike teams, Immortal as well, take them a lot quicker than we're used to. 10 minutes in, normally, wouldn't be much cause for a lot of team fighting, a lot of coordination in some cases. But in this league especially, it's time to start looking at the Gold Fury, the Pyro when it comes up. They're all really viable targets at the moment as beads expended by the Merlin.
Power drop it down low. Valo going aggressive for the kill, but look who's here for the revenge. It's Ratmilk. Valo does find a kill on the Power, but Ratmilk goes on a rampage and takes out the Mercury in response. CarlosRyder pulls back the Tiamat, and Tiamat's dropping low quick. Double kill for Ratmilk. Could be even more. Triple kill for Ratmilk under the tier 1 tower. And you wanted objectives, KingFsher? Well, they're going to give you the objective. Dark Omen's heading over to Gold Fury.
Makes me so happy to see them go for the big objectives. Always a really big talking point is now Bindi dropping low, able to heal himself up. STAILUS not going to chase. I mean, could and probably wouldn't get punished, but I don't know how big of an XP.
Oh, Centaurus?
That's going to be a little bit late from Tomcatt.
Nice attempt. Masterful shot. Doesn't find a kill into CarlosRyder either, despite it being close. But Dark Omen does secure the Gold Fury here, now really cementing a decent lead here at 10 minutes.
They really are, and I mean, 6,000 and now 11 minutes in, it's a really sizable lead, not yet reflecting too much in the builds. I guess maybe difference between tier 3 and tier 2s at this stage, but can really get out of hand fast. I mean, any kind of small advantage that Dark Omen has here is going to play massive as Valo priming the Sonic Boom. They're looking for a akat. Maybe Tomcatt trying to bait them out a little bit, but the iXchar are not falling for it.
Yeah, the walls do curve, which is a nice counter to Mercury, but Valo, as we saw from play-ins, does have a lot of patience. Going to wait around the side. Tomcatt getting aggressed on, and that's the cue for Valo to go in. Special delivery, throws akat against the wall. iXchar should have a safe ride out of here, but is taking a lot of damage. Aussie passive procs, not enough to survive. Valo finds a kill onto akat. Pyromancer is taken in response by Dark Omen, not to be outdone.
Really strong objective play here by Dark Omen. Pick up both objectives. Now looking towards a mid lane. Snorkel and Kaizo here shouldn't be in too much danger as most of Dark Omen walks back to get some farm, anything like that. But now, all the tier 2 towers except for one still stand for Oathkeepers. If you're Dark Omen, do you try to kind of start pushing onto those towers soon, or do you wait till you get a bit more of a lead, get a Fire Giant, before you start really trying to group up and run it down?
With how Dark Omen's been playing, I personally would foresee them continuing to try to get picks and try to get the same exact strategy that we just saw, right? They're going to go and try to get a 3, maybe 4-person death on the side of Oathkeepers and take that man advantage and then go get the objective and then look for the towers. I don't think Dark Omen likes taking fights without knowing that they've got the advantage.
And I like to see a team play like that. They're certainly cautious, I think is the right word, but not to a point where it really kind of slows down the flow of the game. So I think a really smart way of playing it. But now Oathkeepers are starting to group up on this right-hand side. It's going to be a 3v3 in the jungle. Bindi takes a little bit of damage. Or if any team's going to invade, CarlosRyder wants to, but misses the pluck. Could have been a really, really nice initiation there for Dark Omen.
One of few polls that have missed so far from CarlosRyder. I wanted to point out, actually, Sylvanas has been making an impact. Both supports, really. Their mechanical play has been great so far. A lot of body blocks, a lot of nice positioning, and keep looking for that as we get later in the game. Kaizo looking to defend. His green buff does not want to give it up that easy, and Valo is here with the same idea in mind, and they do secure the green buff for Kaizo. So, small victory there for the Terra.
Love seeing your supports keep the green buffs around their belt. Always a victory. Can't be a small victory, just a victory. But now, I mean, the Terra, admittedly, not too far behind in XP. One level, I think, closer to 1.5 on support really isn't too much, as akat has to use bees to get out of the Sonic Boom. Not gonna stun the Mercury with the ult. Valo gets a kill. Great gank by Oathkeepers as I completely cut off my train of thought.
And we're seeing that pressure put on the dual lane. Just like we talked about, as soon as the support's left, Valo's been paying a lot of attention to that Ishtar, trying to get the Chiron ahead and help out come late game. And it's nice because Rage has no stacks. Ishtar being ganked constantly cannot look to rotate too early. Although Chiron is very pushed up, and we do see a gank coming out from Ratmilk. CarlosRyder runs into 2 over by the Oracles, and Valo and Kaizo are going to gang up onto Sylvanas. Power is around the corner, and so is STAILUS, who's rotated over. Bindi cannot look to get there in time. Ratmilk finds a solo kill on a Tomcat in the dual lane after rotating over. And Dark Omen has pressure showing in mid, so look for them to potentially rotate and force a Primal Fury here.
Primal Fury, always kind of nice at this stage. And, I mean, sometimes we talk about it not being the most useful Fury, kind of compared to the Oni. But when we're this early in the game, Oni waves don't do a whole ton if you're not able to push with them, but getting that extra objective onto the jungle camps is just going to be huge. Or sorry, extra damage, not extra objective. Jeez, as Primal Fury drops really low. No hope of stealing there for Oathkeepers, and I think one thing we haven't talked about yet, and admittedly neither team really has it, but really strong objective secure and steal. There's Centaurus and Kleena's Tear the Veil, and that's really about it from either team.
Yeah, I do agree. At least from the perspective of these teams, at least they're both lacking in it. And if they're both lacking in it, then it's less of an issue. It will create some awkwardness. I mean, like you said, Centaurus is probably the big one. I guess we could also just look at pure damage over time coming out from Ratmilk as well. But that will be something to watch as we get to the Fire Giant fights. Valo gonna find a kill on a STAILUS with the help of Bindi. Ratmilk could not get there in time to save a solo laner, running into Kaizo and getting peeled off. So another big pickup there for the Mercury, not to be outshined by Cleo. Valo's already up to 7 kills and an assist, and not far behind. Was not far behind Ratmilk most of the game. Already caught up, actually ahead of Ratmilk currently. So this heavyweight matchup is proving to be exactly what we were looking for.
What we were looking for indeed. Might not stay ahead for long. Snorkel has to pop Aegis to stay alive. Merlin not quite able to secure the kill. Would have meant another assist for the Kalina, but gets away safely. Should open the door for a Pyro. All the members of Oathkeepers are going to be backing, so no threat of stealing here, as a now Runic Bomb in their belts. And kind of help them now if they do want to start pushing for those objectives. Oh, they don't pick it up. Wait, no, they did, rather. They did it?
They did. Okay, you scared me. You can't give me a heart attack like that.
I'm sorry.
I guess the big difference so far for Oathkeepers and what's kept them in the game has been Valo, and the map presence has been crazy. We're seeing more of it here, waiting for a potential gank and akat. Gonna go from behind. Speed buff online. Akat is definitely not aware. And Valo is just gonna set up and wait for it. Sonic Boom getting popped. Gonna go in onto the Ishtar. Sonic Boom comes through. Purification beads come out from akat. Special Delivery does not find a home. Blades of Retribution come out. Does get a 2-man stun. And they're low, but Valo did find the kill.
Great kill there from Valo, pulling even further ahead of the Kalina. Still up by a level, and finally even kills. Didn't know if it was ever going to reach that point. And I wouldn't call it concerning for Dark Omen. I still think they're pretty staunchly in the lead of this game. But whenever even one player on the enemy starts getting rolling like that, it's something to be worried about. It's just a lot of extra momentum going that way that you really want to shut down. Trying to take down Snorkel's STAILUS into the Pillar of Agony. Not going to find much damage, though. Can CarlosRyder land the pull? No, he cannot.
We're seeing very aggressive map play right now from Dark Omen, and CarlosRyder may pay for it. Does use Rat the Terror, trying to get away. Taking some damage. Centaurus comes out, but Carlos is still alive. Just now going to fall down to TomCatt. So a lot is expended for the Sylvanas, and they do end up getting it. Something I'm looking at is the 2-level lead now between Mercury and Kleena. I mean, we know that Kleena's doing a lot of damage, but Mercury is the definition of a hyper carry. So now hitting level 19, this Mercury could cause some serious issues for Dark Omen the later we get. They are not a incredibly tanky team at the moment, with STAILUS going that damage build we talked about. No hybrid items from anybody. Only Carlos can survive this Mercury right now. Nobody else can.
And as kind of damage heavy as a Mercury is, I think that Kleena does have one pretty distinct advantage over him in the fact that Kleena, wherever she goes, wherever she attacks, causes absolute pandemonium in the backline. With Mercury, it's not a ton of wide-hitting abilities. You kind of pick a target, they're dead. Then you wait for abilities to come back up, you pick another target, and they're dead. But with Kleena really able to kind of spread herself around the fight at the same time, and if Oathkeepers aren't really kind of prepared for that and really coordinated with their peel, with their targets, it's going to be difficult for them to deal with Ratmilk.
I think that's a really well-placed observation, and I would add on to it that we haven't even talked about ADCs yet, and Ishtar and Chiron are both very in this game and can both do a lot of damage. We'll see if this Oni Fury is a limit test for the damage. Centaurus comes out looking for the steal. Oathkeepers do steal it away from Dark Omen and will look to retreat with a victory, maybe just look for picks at the end, but a nice steal there from Oathkeepers thanks to the TomCatt with a perfect Centaurus.
Finally on point with one. I think missed one on the first Gold Fury. I don't know if he went for a Centaurus steal on the Primal or not, but hey, 1 for 2, even 1 for 3 on steals. It's still a pretty good rate. Now, might need to be careful though. Dark Omen's grouping up, and what this Oni Fury does, it buys them a little bit of time to go around, get farm, much less a gold. Valo onto Ratmilk. Ratmilk able to dash away though. It's now the engage starts for Dark Omen. They're diving onto Valo. Valo pops egg, is not gonna live. Power gets a kill.
That's a big kill onto the Mercury, but Dark Omen still looking plenty healthy. Tiamat goes in aggressive with the help of Terra, but they're dropping low, and they're dropping low quick. Akat on the rotation, dropping out good damage as well. TomCatt falls to the back. Double kill for Power on the Merlin. 3 remaining members of Oathkeepers under the tower, but the tower is not very healthy, so they're going to have to look to back up here. And Dark Omen looking to really pressure them out and maybe even look for the Pyromancer.
And one of the first real
they're looking for big fire.
Oh, I like this call. I mean, TomCatt has the Centaurus up again, but Fire Giant, it's a lot harder to steal, especially with STAILUS zoning here. If I'm STAILUS, I am only worried about TomCatt there, and indeed going to engage onto that Chiron, who's already dropping low.
Fire Giant's down to 25% health. Dark Omen is loosely on the Fire Giant, not looking to let it go for free. They do secure the Fire Giant. Now going to look for kills after. The first on line is going to be TomCatt. Kaizo should be next. Tear the Veil coming through. Kaizo going to fall down. Double kill for Power on the Merlin before Valo can get there to help out. And Dark Omen secures the Fire Giant with a couple picks. Now going to get the Pyromancer. They're going to have a bomb, and they're going to be ready to siege.
And if nothing else, that should just show you the tiniest mistake in the world can, I'm not going to say end the game, but that was a 5,000 gold swing. Fire Giant, should be some towers off this push. And it all started because Valo ulted in when the team wasn't really ready to engage. I think probably chalk it up to miscommunication. Admittedly, Valo did get Ratmilk out of the fight. Would have been a pretty good engage for Oathkeepers, but I don't think they were really ready for it. And as a result, they just kind of flounder. They all go in one by one. And Dark Omen able to capitalize, get the Fire Giant. And now spreading out, maybe trying to push the minion lanes up. But I'd really like to see them group up and get some tier 2 or some Phoenixes down before this Fire Giant runs out.
I'm curious to see what Oathkeepers' defense is going to look like. We know that Mercury doesn't have a bad time defending. Actually, hang on. Ratmilk runs into Valo in mid lane. Valo should be safe, but does not have Sonic Boom online. Does get away, however. What I was going to say was, we know if Mercury can defend. It's not a question of that, but overall, Oathkeepers, they have a good defensive comp, but Dark Omen has a very good sieging comp.
They do, they really do, and I think it's kind of unfortunate for Oathkeepers, but that Terra is going to be a massive part of this defense, because admittedly a lot of the team is down in levels, same with Kaizo, but getting that ultimate online, getting the heals, the stuns, roots, it's all going to be massive to allow the players like Valo and Tomcatt to really safely get their damage off in this fight.
Oathkeepers setting up for the defense, the dual lane. Phoenix, tier 2 tower is not even a question at this point. It's going to drop so fast. Dark Omen does have STAILUS in mid, keeping that pressured out. So Oathkeepers will have a difficult time with the defense here. Ratmilk is walking away to look to get some more farm, probably going to get the shield. And Dark Omen now going to follow to Primal Fury. So Oathkeepers does have some time to lick wounds and prepare for the big defense, but I don't expect this to be a delayed siege because that's just not Godlike style.
It definitely is, and I do kind of like this play called by Dark Omen. They should have about another 2 minutes left on this Fire Giant. Don't really need to push it down insanely fast, and I think with their left lane, they didn't do a great job of pushing up minions before that. I think it's Sharp Path through the jungle wasn't able to take him out, but even when you have Fire Giant with the game state, not necessarily even, but Oathkeepers, they have levels, they have items. It's not an easy push by any means. You kind of need those minions there to help soak up the damage, let your backline get a little bit more onto that Phoenix. I think probably the smart play in holding off a little bit here.
For sure. Something else I'm looking at is the ward coverage. We saw it a bit before. They have been dewarded slightly. The main one is in mid, but Dark Omen looking to keep pressure deep. STAILUS could easily teleport in. Only defense currently is the Tainted Steel upgrade. Spectral Armor also online, so can survive Valo for a moment. But if you can get that Hades in deep, get the Pillar of Agony off with the blink, and you can really create a lot of openings for your team. And Dark Omen gonna look to secure Fire Giant, and then potentially look for what could be an ending siege if Oathkeepers is not ready for it.
It really could be, and they do have Chiron pushing up the left-hand side, so Centaurus, it's kind of been their main steal tool. It is not going to be here for this Fire Giant. I wonder if Oathkeepers are almost just going to let this one fall. You gotta think, with not seeing Dark Omen on the map, they have to know the call is Fire Giant. But now they're just going to try to go for a tier 1 in mid. If they get this, they need to back up quickly.
And it looks like they're not even going to get it. And Dark Omen going to look to group up, clean up Pyromancer, grab the bomb, and push. And Oathkeepers kind of spread around. The overall call does seem to beat to back. Oathkeepers is doing that. They're going to prepare to defend their Phoenixes. They've got to deal with 2 Pyro Bombs. They got to deal with Fire Giant. This is a uphill battle for Oathkeepers.
It really is, and I think we talk a lot about, like, what can the teams do to kind of get themselves back into the game. Dark Omen is pretty far ahead. It's 15,000 gold in 26 minutes. All you can do is hope that they misplay this Phoenix push incredibly badly. I mean, there's really not much else to it. They are very, very far ahead right now.
Dark Omen does send STAILUS over to mid lane. He is teleported in after looking for the pick on TomCatt over in dual lane. They're going to split pressure. Ratmilk hanging out on the wall. So now just an added thing for Oathkeeper. It's got to be prepared of the wall. Blink in from STAILUS looking for Valo. Valo does get away, but the mid Phoenix is going to fall down. Dark Omen, 1 Phoenix down already. Looking for more. CarlosRyder steps into the solo lane. Phoenix and Dark Omen is the follow, and STAILUS goes in the back and finds Bindi, as well as the company around it. Valo tried to find an opening, but could not find it. Gets poked out by Power. Centaurus comes out. Aegis used a masterful shot. Dark Omen, 2 Phoenixes down. Not much loss so far. Bindi trying to go in and make a play happen onto the Merlin, but STAILUS and company are in the back, and they're doing damage. Kaizo falls down to akat. Srbindy maybe next, and he is. Falls down to CarlosRyder, and now it's a 3v5 for the defense, and Dark Omen may look for the Titan here. They got minion waves marching in, and that is what they're going to do. They're going to start to look for it. Ratmilk goes around the side, going to look for Valo, who goes in. Valo falls down to Power, who gets the final hit. STAILUS has TomCatt busy. Titan down to 10%, and Titan is going to fall down. Only 1 kill on the way out, and Dark Omen takes game 1 of this set. We'll be right back on the desk to break it down for you.
I could get drunk off the lights of a city. Late night phone calls just to say you miss me, but you don't. No, you don't. Drop my phone now, that shit's broken. 2 a.m. and I'm lost and broken.
Dark Omen moves efficiently and quickly. Oathkeepers certainly can put up a defense, but there was a lot to defend there, and they were spread just a bit too thin to be able to overcome the odds. KingFsher, walk me through what you saw there as we talk about the wrap-up of game number 1.
I mean, admittedly, in that mid game, Oathkeepers kind of looked like not necessarily staging a comeback, but they were kind of slowing the bleeding there for a while. They got some really nice kills. I think Valo in particular had a really good stretch where it got involved in, I believe, like, it must have been 5 or 6 of his 8 kills in a 5-minute span. So by doing that, they were kind of doing a good job, but it really just got out of hand quickly. And I think fatal mistake not showing up to that final Fire Giant, they really just kind of let Dark Omen take control of the game pace at that point, which is never something you want to give up if you can help it. And admittedly, the Fire Giant defense might have gone horrible, but I think kind of shot themselves in the foot by just letting Dark Omen do it how they wanted.
I think you described the win condition of Dark Omen there perfectly, which was, let's have free reign to do what we want. And I mean, it did take them a while to get there. Oathkeepers put up a fight. Like you said, especially in the mid game, the Mercury was an ever looming presence. And look at the damage from TomCatt. TomCatt was able to drop 20k damage. So not to be discredited on the Chiron, but they just had just a bit too much to deal with. Power and Ratmilk were both very effectively getting their damage across. STAILUS was a menace, diving in deep. The only person on Dark Omen who really wasn't able to do much was akat because of all the pressure, but Dark Omen utilized the pressure of Oathkeepers and used it against them. So realistically, for akat, it was a net positive. So overall, I'm really looking to see what and if Oathkeepers can change for game number 2. So with that, we'll be right back on the Smite Draft League with game number 2 between Dark Omen and Oathkeepers.
Pull another of your cigarettes out. Fuck, I always feel so burned out. I never smoked before I met you. Now I chain smoke the way I like to kiss you. Cause I know you're with them while I'm here, staring at a red light. Stopped, windows down, cursing at the street signs. When every road could lead me back to the memories that we once had, yeah. Tell me how this so easily falls apart. Cause damn, you still fucking have my heart. And all I have is another of your cigarettes lit.
Welcome back to Smite Draft League. We have more Oathkeepers versus Dark Omen. Same sides as before. I'm still Anthony Malum. He is still KingFsher. Let's get into picks and bans and see what Oathkeepers can do different.
And admittedly, I don't know if there's much you really need to target ban this game. I think they're going to take the clean out, probably smart. It may have seemed like it didn't have much of an impact on the late game. I think Ratmilk had those 8 kills pretty early on, but kind of just set the pace, was really, really comfortable in it. Smart taking it away, but that being said, I think we covered in game 1 how he can do well on any pick. Don't know how much it's really going to slow down Dark Omen.
It could be a comfort thing too. You know, in personal experience, there are characters that even if they aren't the greatest, I cannot stand playing against them. 2 that come to mind for me are Vulcan and Alpash. Not the greatest characters, not bad, but I just don't feel comfortable playing against them and dodging their abilities. Maybe that's how Oathkeepers feels about the Kleena. So maybe looking to control, like we talked about in game 1, control what comes out of the jungle so that they can at least play against something that they all feel comfortable going against.
And Kalina can definitely be a god or a goddess that people really do hate going against. One of the most kind of, I think, slippery is the right word, gods in the game. They're hard to lock down. They can go into the walls. They have a really, really long dash. They can make themselves invisible, silence you. It is dang near impossible to shut down a Kalina one-on-one. You really need a lot of team coordination. I think for that, right, it's probably smart to ban. I mean, and Oathkeepers didn't exactly play separated, but they were kind of on the back foot all game, and especially a pick like that, really hard to do anything against in that situation.
So if you're Oathkeepers here, are you running back a similar composition? And if not, what would you change? Oh, aside from the sorter being locked in.
Well, the starter pick should obviously help them, and honestly, I don't really know. It was a pretty rough early game, and I think the first 5 minutes kind of set the pace because, admittedly, after that, I don't think Oathkeepers did anything that I was outright like, I don't know about that play.
For sure.
They kind of looked pretty good from that point on. That being said, their team fighting wasn't really on point. However, I don't know if that's because they weren't able to get into that game or if it's the team comp themselves. But regardless, Tiamat and Terra taken away, so it's going to have to be something at least a little bit different.
And we see so far, Dark Omen is taking away the previous team composition, taking away the Tiamat, taking away the Terra. So whatever they're planning on running, they're planning on doing it with a bit of imitation in mind.
Well, who knows? Maybe the team comp was really working out if they are copying it that close. Still imagining them to switch it up a little bit, put their own spin on it. And so Susano is taken. We saw it banned away from Ratmilk in game 1, and now Oathkeepers are going to take it for themselves along with a Freya. Freya, I think we've talked about the ring nerfs recently and how it might have hurt Freya's build a little, maybe ability. Still, she's still pretty dang good. It's hard to shut down Terra or Freya late game. The only thing is, Oathkeepers have to get to that point where Freya's effective.
And now the Hercules coming out, so a complete change from both sides, just mixing things up. And to your point, I think Freya is in a weird spot, especially in a higher level game. I kind of worry that the pressure that we saw Valo put on akat, I wonder if we're going to see Ratmilk put that pressure onto Freya this game, try to keep the Freya from getting to that hyper carry type of place.
Yeah, and Hercules should be a really good pick to lock that down, because Freya, no mobility, cannot get away from the Hercules, just really got to get up into the air quicker, use the beads. And some interesting support bans. I can't really remember the last time I've seen an Athena ban, maybe just kind of trying to take that global presence away, or do you think that's more of a target ban?
I know that Kaizo does play a lot of Athena. I don't know if it's enough for a target ban or if it's a kind of a combination of they know Kaizo's a good support and whatever they're going for with this team composition, they're worried that Athena could be a good response for it. I mean, maybe even going back to my previous point, if their plan is currently let's put a lot of pressure onto Freya and keep Freya behind, let's gank a lot, and Athena could be a great response for that because you just Defender of Olympus over there and you help out Freya, and now all of a sudden Freya has a taunt on her side. So that could be the reason, but a target ban is also possible.
I mean, it could be both. Really, not much we can speculate further on
Yeah.
that, but still, 4 out of the 5 support bans definitely thinking Kaizo was a problem last game. Was pretty behind, but still had some clean play on the Terra. Not a real ton of misplays besides maybe overextending once into the enemy jungle. But even so, pretty inconsequential. That is a difficult word to say. As now that Jingwei is locked in for a Ka, I don't know if I love this pick. I think correct me, was it akat that started out 0-4, or was it the Chiron? I think it was akat on the Ishtar, so for that respect, the Jingwei should allow him to play a lot safer, but maybe doesn't offer the same siege potential as some other ADCs.
The Camazot's getting locked in. I would expect the Camazot's to be going solo lane, Susano to be jungle. The Atlas lock in, not my favorite support, but a good support is the stance you'd hear from most Atlas fans is that Atlas can do a little bit of everything, and that's what I expect Kaizo is going to be doing here, just trying to really spread Atlas usage around. We did see a Mercury hover, but it turned into a Hoombots, and we've seen Ratmilk on this Hoombots quite a few times, and it's certainly more than a pocket pick for Ratmilk, so Oathkeepers will definitely have their hands full, especially if there is pressure put on a dual lane.
Gonna be a hard one to shut down indeed. That being said, I do like Oathkeepers draft a lot more this time. They've got all the tools it takes to win. Now all they have to do is put it together. But I think that's gonna do it here for us on the desk. So we will see you back in game for match number 2 between Dark Omen and Oathkeepers.
Pull another of your cigarettes out. Fuck, I always feel so burned out. I never smoked before I met you. Now I chain smoke the way I like to kiss you. Cause I know you're with them while I'm here, staring at a red light. Stopped, windows down, cursing at the street signs. When every road could lead me back to the memories that we once had, yeah. Tell me how this so easily falls apart. Cause damn, you still fucking have my heart. And all I have is another of your cigarettes lit, but not a single fuck left to give. I could explode, I feel like gasoline when you're mad at me. Lit a match in the wind, so I'm asking please. I try to cope, go through the motions, no, I got a noose around my throat. Fuck, I love you, but I know that I should let you go. Situations got me pressed and I'm on overload. I'm on overload, so another of your cigarettes out. Fuck, I always feel so burned out. I never smoked before I met you. Now I chain smoke the way I like to kiss you. Cause I know you're with them while I'm here, staring at a red light. Stopped, windows down, cursing at the street signs. When every road could lead me back to the memories that we once had, yeah. Tell me how this so easily falls apart.
Hello and welcome to game number 2 between Oathkeepers and Dark Omen. I'm Anthony Malum, he's KingFsher. Let's do it! And let's start by talking about KaizoCast's mid.
We didn't really get to go over that on the desk. I'm gonna be completely honest, it really slipped by me. I didn't even notice anything out of the ordinary. That being said, I think it's a smart choice in terms of the mid laner. We've seen Susano played at mid before. I'm not personally the biggest fan of that, and I think especially having Valo on that really high damage, high carry role should be a lot better, and having Freya in ADC, simply the best role. Freya, in my opinion, does not do well in mid. Oh, that is a ambitious blink onto the Tiamat.
Some good damage came out, so Tiamat will be poked out, gonna have to utilize potions there and play a bit more back than you may like as a Tiamat, but no kill came from it. And that was kind of the story in game number 1 as well. Oh, hang on, because Bindi got very low. Gonna be okay. Gonna use Ember Walk to be a bit safe and create some space. The fighting early on is what I was gonna say. There was a lot of it early on, especially in mid. We saw the very early double kill. Oh, the pull in. There's the dash on the Bindi. Gonna get pushed behind the minions, but having that level advantage proving to be huge here for the Surtur.
And that was about an inch away from a first blood in the solo lane, not quite under that tower threshold. STAILUS probably hoping to get one tower shot in there, definitely would have made that kill doable. Now the Surtur gonna be starting the Soul Eater, and it's interesting. I'm really fascinated to see how that Surtur starts going to change, but that might have to wait. Is Ratmilk now going to use his blink onto TheTomcatt? TheTomcatt dropping low, but so is CarlosRyder in the back. Freya gets out alive. Terra
found it. Alive. And that is gonna be a big first blood there for akat. Response gang came out in solo. STAILUS did find Bindi first, with Valo gonna look for the return kill on STAILUS. Look at the healing coming out from the Hercules. Should be safe. We'll see if the rotation from the KaizoCast's mid is enough. Finds the Hercules, but Valo went the other way. Could find it. Needs another ability to do it, but STAILUS with the dash away. Gonna be fine to the Hercules with a great escape.
Good escape by the Hercules indeed. Gonna stop him from being the first kill given over to the Oathkeepers. And I think I was about to touch on before that fight broke out. seeing the Soul Leader on this Surtur, it's going to change in the next patch, and we always see that with this god, so I'm really interested to see if it's going to be another aggressive item. Maybe the Terra is the one that needs an aggressive item, doing a lot of damage onto that Atlas.
Yeah, Atlas already down to below half health. CarlosRyder not looking too much better, so should be a calm dual lane at the moment, unless we see another gank soon. I mean, we talked about looking to see that pressure from Ratmilk on the fray, and we saw it early as opposed to Ratmilk going to solo and mid early on. So big change there from the Hoonbots. And I'm curious if it's going to continue to be a theme, if Oathkeepers is going to need to ward like crazy on the left, or if that'll be a one-off thing.
I mean, if last game's any indication, I don't think Ratmilk really ganked the left lane the whole time. I think it was mainly Valo that had a pretty big presence over there. Now Surtur getting poked out again, but still does have some lifesteal with that Soul Eater built in, so him and Hercules should both be able to sustain pretty well in this lane, and they're both high-pressure gods. One of the few times I would expect a Surtur lane to have 0 kills.
Yeah, I mean, the one kill they have already is certainly due to some interference, so I wouldn't expect more than that. I think this is going to be a big Jeffrey lane. Very calm, indeed.
Gotta love the Netflix lane. Certainly, I don't think either of them really thought it was going to be that when they locked in these gods, but that's kind of what it's going to turn into. I would expect, I mean, Hercules, ton of sustain, ton of damage, and with that ultimate, Surtur just kind of unkillable if they time it right. So I would personally like to see both junglers completely ignore that lane. So now Freya probably wishing they would ignore her, taking a little bit of damage, returning though onto the Terra. Ratmilk is close, so I don't think Tomcat realizes, but nope. Oh, Blink is up from the Hunbots.
And there's the jump in on the Tomcat. Tomcat just going to accept the death, falls down to akat. That's 2 kills now for the Jingwei. Response did not come quite in time from Oathkeepers. CarlosRyder with no mana. Kaizo goes in, but Valo taking his time, blinking from Ratmilk. There's the Fear No Evil. Valo waiting around the side, going to blink in onto akat and a CarlosRyder. Some good damage coming out. Typhoon comes out, going to find a kill onto akat in response. And Dark Omen can just retreat. So 1-for-1 there, despite all the chaos.
Good return there from Valo. I think Tomcat probably wishing that was about 20 seconds sooner. But nonetheless, getting that return going to be really, really nice to see. Oh my gosh, I was Tiamat in the ground stance. I was like, when were there 2 bats in the mid lane? That really confused me.
You got me there. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get distracted, but I mean, that got me.
I'm not going to be able to unsee that for the rest of the game, and I sincerely hope the viewers aren't either. Definitely going to have to make those blue and red outlines a little bit bigger, as now blue buff is going to be secured by Oathkeepers. And as much as Ratmilk kind of ignored the duo lane last game, he was really, really present on a lot of the blue buff invades. Till probably about the 10-minute mark, saw pretty consistent pressure over there, but not really the same this game. It feels like both junglers have been focusing on farming a lot more than ganking, and I personally always love to see that. I think kind of more passive junglers can be just as good when you get into late game, because it's a lot safer way of getting there. There's not as much risk of dying and getting your lanes behind. Now STAILUS gonna have to toss out a Boulder. Senior Bindy though still has Bindi rather, still has a lot of health, but now Kaizo stunned out in the mid lane.
A bit calmer of a game than we had in game number 1, and that's pretty much a big story for now. Dash off the mark from STAILUS. Could have maybe looked for the kill had the dash hit. But Bindi falling down low, 1 basic will be enough, and it's going to be found. Hercules with a solo kill onto the Surtur. Now we go back to mid. We got a fight by the Oracles. Valo going to escape for now, but did leave a support behind, and support's in the middle of 2 members. And Kaizo's fallen down low and fast. Ratmilk doesn't have the mana for the fight, so this is a true 2v2. Kaizo with the pull on a CarlosRyder. Power drop it down low, and it's going to be a kill for the Camazons on to Power ST2. CarlosRyder could be next, but does have to dash up to get away. Gonna get a Greston underneath the tower, shockingly enough, but Bat out of Hell could not find the kill, and CarlosRyder lives another day.
Luckily for Snorkel, with that bat out of hell, can kind of afford to take those bigger chances there, like under the tower. Didn't pin out that time, but definitely wouldn't let it dissuade him if I was them. Now, I mean, I don't think the Golden Blade on Hercules, it's kind of one item we don't really talk about with solo laners a whole ton, but it's quickly become the meta. It pairs so well with the self-heal, which now gives him attack speed. Bindy's just not ready for the damage. Boulder, though, not quite able to confirm the kill.
It was close, and I'm sure Bindi really wanted that return kill. Do you have a 1v1 in dual lane? Tomcatt not getting the better quite yet of akat. Abilities off the mark. Akat needs one basic. Can't quite find it. Ratmilk gonna go aggressive. Gonna blink in and a slam down. It'll be a kill for the Hoonbots. Response, though, was in solo lane. Valo goes over and picks up a big kill on the Hercules. Some nice golden pocket for the Sano. And Dark Omen, not to be outdone, responds to that by heading to the Gold Fury.
I like this call from Dark Omen. They're getting it, I think, about 2-3 minutes quicker than it was last game, sometime around the 10 or 11 minute mark. But, I mean, a really good opportunity, too, with the Freya back in base. You can see Atlas and Camazotz coming over. They know they don't have to expend anything for it. And it being an Oni Fury, gonna be up at 13.5 minutes, that is going to make a lot of pressure. If a team's able to take that, the only thing that worries me is that it's an Oni. These teams might feel pressured into taking it as soon as it spawns. Those waves, they can kind of set the enemy team behind, but they don't really help you push this early into the game.
Yeah, and you know, something we didn't touch on too much with the Camazotz mid, and something they definitely miss out on. I mean, their objective secure currently is Typhoon. Which, I mean, I guess you could argue Valkyrie's discretion, but if you utilize that in an objective secure fashion, that's an entire escape gone for Freya. So I don't really like that. And Oathkeepers kind of just, once again, lacking on that big secure. And I guess you could say the same for Dark Omen, but at least they've got Fear No Evil. They have Children of Creation, Storm variant from Tiamat, so they have a bit more options.
They do have the boulder from that Hercules as well. The one thing I can kind of see going in Oathkeepers' favor when it comes to objective stealing is their two main sources, which I would think is a Typhoon from Valo and Bat Out of Hell from Snorkel. They're both pretty safe. You can throw Typhoon from a mile away, you get a nice knockup, there's not much threat of a return kill. With Bat Out of the Hell, we've seen steals from it before, and it's really safe. You're able to go in, get the damage off, and get out without taking a single tick of damage. Tomcat might take a lot of damage. Good gets into the air to avoid the stun from the Terra, and they see Ratmilk uses Fear No Evil onto Valo. Valo dropping low, dashes away, but Ratmilk following.
And keeping on does get discouraged by a Radiate and Pulse combination from Tomcat, and Dark Omen going to fall back and take it a bit easy. Also realizing not many objectives over here, but still hanging out, if not lightly. Ryder with the Banish, going to go for the root onto Tomcat. Ratmilk coming around his side. Akat also hanging out. Ryder going to look to get out, and that's going to be enough for the kill onto Tomcat. CarlosRyder gets the credit. Mid lane, Power getting pressured out heavily. Camazotz dives in. Bat Out of Hell going to find the kill on the Power ST2 before the rotation comes out from STAILUS. Let's go back to Duo. Look at a Typhoon knock up Ratmilk. Can Ratmilk survive the onslaught with the help of Akat? Akat dashes in. Jetstream out for Valo, but it won't be enough as Valo... Whoa, he does get the kill! I thought for sure Valo was going to fall down, but he's able to turn it around on the Ratmilk and find the kill. Akat gets caught out backing by Camazotz, and that's a kill for the Camazotz. So 2 kills go for Oathkeepers, and now we're 6-6 after pure chaos out of nowhere.
And what a crazy turnaround for Oathkeepers. Should have had no right getting those 2 kills, but they get them anyway. Love to see that turnaround from the Order side team. I think luckily for them, the fact that Dark Omen got that big push on left kind of limits them. They've already taken the Gold Fury, not able to swing to Pyro fast enough. Maybe could have opened the door for Oathkeepers to take it, but they went for the kills instead. Definitely not a bad play, but it does mean that that Runic Bomb gonna stay off the table for the time being. The Snorkel trying to get back into mid lane, gonna have to fight through high hell to get there. Takes a little... Ooh, I think Power missed most of that Primordial Onslaught.
So things are kind of calming, but I don't know how long we can trust that, as we do see Kaizo is aggressing heavy in mid. Valo gonna blink in on the Ratmilk, gonna go for the auto reset. Fear No Evil in response was pre-beats by Valo. Valo finds a kill with a Typhoon. That right there is a heavyweight 1v1. reactions so fast I could hardly even see them to commentate on them. They're going to go under tower looking for Power. Power's going to jump over the wall. Valo could not find it, but Valo's got the movement speed to keep up with the Tiamat. Going to go through. Use Stormcaught to catch up. It's going to be another kill for Valo. It's a rampage now for the Sasano, but he gets knocked out by the Jingwei. Airstrike just off the mark, but Execrate finds the kill onto Valo. So we do have a nice rotation for the Hercules in response. Akat falling low, gets found by Tomcatt. Valkyrie's discretion's cleaned up one. Gonna look for more on STAILUS, but they have their target split as KaizoCaster is focusing on Carlos. The rest are on the Hercules. Hercules gonna go down, just a matter of who gets the hit, and it's Bindi. Ratmilk has rotated over, but sees 3 members and decides better of it.
And now the Oni Fury going to be on the table for Oathkeepers. Definitely not a bad chance to try and take it. Ratmilk does not have Fear No Evil, and they should know it. That being said, it is going down slowly. I don't know if I love the commitment here from Oathkeepers. I might not. Ratmilk trying to find the kill onto Bindi. Bindi gets away. Ratmilk following. Does shut down the Surtur. Is probably going to pay for it with his life, though. Takes down Kaizo
Double
as well.
kill.
Can't get Tomcatt.
Gonna get one more. He just needs a basic to do it. Fear No Evil comes up and the overhead smash. Not gonna be in time. Tomcatt finds the kill into Ratmilk. Valo comes in for the defense of the Freya and drops CarlosRyder down to half health. KaizoCaster with the 1v1 onto the Tiamat. Tiamat gonna fall down to KaizoCaster. Valo able to escape, and so is Freya. But KaizoCaster gets spotted out by the Jingwei, and the dash in is a big kill for akat. So now they go back to the Oni Fury, and now it's gonna be Dark Omen's Oni Fury. Man.
In a back and forth fight and a beautiful engagement by Ratmilk to get him off that Oni Fury. Took down 2. If he wipes a Freya there too, that's a massive play for Dark Omen. Honestly, still is though. They get the favor, the kills there. They get the Oni Fury as well. And I think we talked about, at this stage in the game, not a ton of push potential with the Oni Furies. Maybe you can afford to get a tier 1 in mid or right. If that's a call, more than nothing should allow them to be aggressive here into the jungle, knowing Oathkeepers may have to defend. Pyro dropping low. No Fear No Evil to try and steal it.
Kaizo has Children of Creation on top of him, and that's enough for Oathkeepers to take it easy around the Pyromancer. They walk away. Pyromancer does get looked at instantly by Dark Omen, and they've got a nice positioning set up for it. Ratmilk's going around the back to try to distract. Blinks past Kaizo, and Fear No Evil finds 2. Valo's going to fall down before he could do anything. Typhoon did come out, but only hit Power, and Power is still plenty healthy. Same cannot be said for Oathkeepers, and they turn to Kaizo, but Kaizo's able to dash away. So that does open up a clean Pyromancer for Dark Omen, but Oathkeepers just loses the 1 member.
And I wouldn't say concerning if you're Oathkeepers, but the pace of this game has turned pretty quickly. They had some really good turnaround kills. They've been doing good things with their team, but now Dark Omen just kind of going on a little bit of a run lately. I think that double kill from Ratmilk gave him a ton of confidence. Now the confidence going to be missing from Power, sent back to the grave. KaizoCaster's up into the air, and that will shut down the tier 1 tower push.
It looked good for a moment, but it eventually was lost there.
Very unfortunate. Is now looking in mid. There's still 2 members from Dark Omen here. They still might be looking for some aggression, but Freya taking the tier 1 tower on the left-hand side, trying to make their way over here to the back. Has to be careful though. Hunbot's probably going to be following that Freya pretty closely, but I think Tomcatt not going to have too much trouble getting out of there.
Not at all. Oracles being looked at from Tomcatt, so things have calmed down. If we can see an ADC go for Oracles safely, we know things have calmed for the moment. Making me a liar is Ratmilk does find some poke onto the KaizoCaster, but KaizoCaster's able to back away safely. I mean, this game is incredibly... It's such an incredible different state from game number 1. Game number 1 felt like a squash at times. Mid-game felt Oathkeepers. This game feels so close. Akat dashing in on to Tomcatt, trying to force the fight. You know why? Because Ratmilk's around the corner. And Ratmilk going to go in on Tomcatt. Needs 1 ability for the kill. What's it going to be? Overhand smash? Not needed. Got a basic from akat. Bindi did find a kill on STAILUS with the help of Valo. So 1 for 1 across the map. But I think the Freya is a big problem being gone here for Oathkeepers.
It should be. I would normally say limits their split push potential, but Valo does take down Power, so man advantage here for the Oathkeepers. Gonna step up aggressively into this jungle, and Jingwei pushing this left side tower. Can't see if they have minions, but if they do, would imagine they take it. Oathkeepers now, they're not split, but they need to make a decision to either try to go... Honestly, the right line looks pretty good right now if I'm them. Dark Omen aren't over there, and they have a wave push up. I might just try to take that tier 1 tower. I don't know if that's going to be the call, though. They don't have a ton of wards over there, so maybe without the same vision that we are.
Yeah, I'm trying to I like to wrap my brain around the possible outcomes. Game 1 felt much easier to predict. I guess the main thing we can look for is a continued focus on the Freya, but a problem for Dark Omen consistently has been Valo, so maybe they got to try to do what they did before, where they split off and found the kill in Freya, but do it in a way where they can quickly turn their attention and prepare for Valo to go in, so you don't lose 1 to 2 members instantly upon going after the Freya. Valo does look for power, but power is able to get away from this Asano for now.
Ooh, luckily, they are for the Tiamat, and it doesn't have to expend any of the big, what's the word, relics either. Has beads down, but don't have to use the Aegis. I think I always talk about effectiveness of Aegis. Not my favorite relic is a big double root from CarlosRyder. Thought it might be the start of a Dark Omen initiation, but no, just a little bit of poke. Oh, but the Terror gets pulled back in. Could be tricky. Ratmilk here has Fear No Evil. Will they drop it?
So far, it was just the Storm coming out from power. Valo's hanging around his side, but he has been spotted out from Dark Omen. So Dark Omen gonna... Oh, I thought they might let Oathkeepers make the mistake, but Dark Omen gonna try to make the fight happen. Valo gets poked out instantly. Kaizo's been in the fight the whole time, gonna fall down to akat. So that's a support down here for Oathkeepers. A bit split right now, though. If you're Dark Omen, gotta check your targets, and they're gonna turn and find 2. akat has a double kill. Srbindy gonna end of days on out of there, seeing as things were not going great for Oathkeepers, and Dark Omen's gonna turn and focus on the Gold Fury.
Should be able to take it pretty easily indeed. Oathkeepers only 3 members alive, really no threat of stealing that one. They're gonna try to grab the Pyro before Dark Omen comes over. I think Snorkel should be able to take it, and indeed just barely gonna pick it up as well. And we talked about objective steal, having the Runic Bomb. It's 1,000 true damage. Now Camazotz has to use the beads, has Fear No Evil. They can contest this Fire Giant. It won't be easy. So if I'm Dark Omen, I would honestly just look for the kills here. You have a 5-on-3. I don't know if they've realized it yet. They might have Snorkel forced up into the air, going for STAILUS.
Going for STAILUS. A lot of opportunities here for Dark Omen. Just got to find the right one. They're going to find one on Srbindy. akat gets credit for the kill. And down goes the Surtur. Haven't even gotten to talk about the 7-3 Jingwei too much. And they get a big pull on Kaizo. That's going to be another kill for Dark Omen. Ratmilk gets the credit for this one. And now they've got a 5-on-3 advantage, which means Fire Giant's on the menu.
Fire Giant on the menu. It's definitely something I want to order. If I'm Dark Omen, the Hercules teleports back in. There's not a ton that Oathkeepers can do, especially not if they're being looked at like this. Ratmilk and STAILUS just walking the 2 down. Uh-oh, but Freya on the right side. If Ratmilk sees her, does not see TomCatt. TomCatt may have a chance at this, but he's got to be on point with the timing.
Here comes the discretion. Can they get it? Dark Omen gets the Fire Giant despite the best efforts from TomCatt. Now Freya doesn't have the ultimate and will surely fall down. And there it is. CarlosRyder has the credit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the contest from TomCatt because, you know, the health bars aren't completely full. A couple members low mana. Tier 2 tower still up. Dark Omen, they're not going to be able to push down incredibly quickly. At the baseline, Freya should be up before any Phoenixes go down. And Dark Omen backing on the right side instead of going for the Tier 2 tower. I really thought they would be there.
Yeah, there feels like noticeably less urgency this game than game number 1. It kind of felt like Dark Omen was racing against the clock in game number 1. And in this game, it kind of feels like they're not playing with their food, because Oathkeepers has been able to mash them and beat them at times. But it feels like both teams are just being very patient and kind of looking for mistakes as opposed to trying to create opportunities.
And I like that both teams are kind of giving each other respect, certainly know what can happen if they overstep even a little bit. That being said, Dark Omen, I would be I guess I'm not worried. If it was another team, I might be worried about waiting too long and kind of overplaying their hand a bit. They do look like they're aggressive now. They're marching down into the right side of this jungle, but for the moment, it's a 4-on-5 favoring Oathkeepers, but akat gets the first kill onto Valo, and that's a massive pickup.
That's big. The Susano has been the problem for Dark Omen all game, and now Susano's off the map, so Dark Omen's got the opportunities they need. The only person not here currently is Power. Fear No Evil comes out, finds just KaizoCaster as Tomcat goes up in the air at Valkyrie's discretion. Vanish finds 2, but not enough to save Kaizo as Ratmilk has the kill onto the Atlas. Dark Omen going to run forward right into the Phoenix. They've got 2 and 2 trapped. Bindi falls down. Now it's just Tomcat and the Camazotz, and Dark Omen has all 5 members, and they're really healthy with Fire Giant. Phoenix going to fall down. They do have a tier 2 tower in mid to contend with, but Dark Omen may look to just force a fight here. I mean, we'll see, but yeah, they're going to go back, look for the tier 2. Valo is respawning. Nice play there, but for a second it looks scary.
And you gotta think, if the Terra was full health, I would have loved an end call there, but the smart thing is STAILUS just absolutely wiped off the face of the earth. Now Dark Omen, their only tank is below half HP. They do not have an ally to go for this Phoenix. I think, like I said, if Terra's full HP there, I think that's a game over for Dark Omen. Oathkeepers, not going to say they're lucky, but pretty fortunate that the Terra did take a lot of damage getting that right side down.
Yeah, STAILUS getting caught out was the problem there. STAILUS doesn't get caught out. Dark Omen may look for the win, but now they've got a big pick on Tomcat, and they could look for more. They go in. Ratmilk going to go aggressive, and they cut off Srbindy. He could not get into End of Days and falls down to akat. So now only 3 members are alive, and Valo is currently in a solo lane, and Dark Omen's going into the Phoenix. Valo starting to back, cancels the back. It's a double kill for akat. Kaizo falls down. And now just the Camazotz is defending the mid lane Phoenix, and Valo still has not backed. Dark Omen going to start to push through. Mid Phoenix going to fall down, and it's going to be Camazotz versus the world, it appears.
Ooh, Camazotz versus the world. Don't really love Camazotz's chances there. But again, Dark Omen, gosh, I really don't know about waiting like this. Granted, they're pretty far ahead. There's not much danger, but I know they're scared of Valo. It's a 5v2 and you have Fire Giant. I really don't see a scenario there where they don't win that Titan push. But all 3 Phoenixes are down. If nothing else, they've made it even harder for Oathkeepers to get back in this game. If I'm them, it's a Primal Fury, reset, go get Fire Giant, and then finally end this game.
Yeah, I think Oathkeepers may be a bit lucky that that particular push from Dark Omen was let go of as Valo was in solo. We do see that Oathkeepers morale maybe taking a bit of a hit. We did see the surrender vote pop up at the top left corner, but there could be also, who knows, maybe they're having fun with it. Maybe it's one of those where it's like, oh, we got this. Let's that's probably not it. But again, Oathkeepers in a tough spot, but I don't think this may be as bad as it feels. I mean, 20k gold is a lot. 3 Phoenixes down is a lot, but the positive is that you've seen that Dark Omen doesn't get free kills in fights. They do have to put in work for it, so there's always a world where after this Fire Giant's taken, you could go for a wipe at Titan.
And I think another thing kind of playing into Dark Omen's, or sorry, rather Oathkeeper's favor here, it's a massive gold lead. It's a pretty big momentum lead. The XP lead is nearly non-existent right now. I mean, I guess almost 3 members level 20 from both sides. It's not something to be worried about. And looking at the build, there's only a few players that are a true item ahead. This is a very, very possible defense for Oathkeepers. That being said, it's going to be a rough one, and Smelly Snorkel might not get to be a part of it. Dove really, really hard there. We're going to be able to get back into the fountain with the bat out of hell.
And Dark Omen looks like they're going to put all the chips on the table right here and try to end the game. Akat's Divine finds the kill. Power kills Valo. And now it's not looking great for Oathkeepers. Only 3 alive, and they're standing in their fountain, still taking tons of damage. Tomcat gets knocked up and can't do more than that. And while half of Dark Omen splits and looks for pressure, the other half is on the Titan. Fire minions in as well. Titan down below half health, 25% in. Camazotz trying to make a play happen with the help of Kaizo. Tomcat's getting poked out. Camazotz falls down. Freya's next, and that's going to be all she wrote. Dark Omen take the set 2-0 away from Oathkeepers. We'll be right back in the desk to try to break this down.
Roll another of your cigarettes out. Fuck, I always feel so smoked before I met you. Now I chain smoke the way I like to kiss you. Cause I know you're with them while I'm here, staring at a red light. Stopped, windows down, cursing at the street signs.
Hello and welcome back after a very back and forth game 2 until the ending. Dark Omen has taken this set 2-0 away from Oathkeepers in their premier set so far for Godlike division. KingFsher, talk me through what you saw there and what these two teams can look for going forward.
I mean, honestly, if I'm on the side of Oathkeepers, just a little bit stronger transition. I think this game, kind of similar to last, didn't have a horrible early game. They had an okay mid game, but again on the transition, it's like one little play happened for Dark Omen, and it kind of snowballed when, in all honesty, it shouldn't have. Valo was playing very, very well. They were really afraid of that Susano. The Camazot's mid played much better than I expected, especially facing into a Tiamat. Kind of expected some trouble there, but just not really able to put it together, and I don't know what was really the cause of that, if it was maybe miscommunication, a little bit of lack of confidence. This team has all the tools they need. They just have to put it together one of these weeks, and they're going to be a really, really scary one to contend with.
For sure, and you know, after the sets I've seen, I'm still feeling pretty confident in my choices as my top two for Godlike being Eclipse and Dark Omen. But Oathkeepers, especially with what we saw in the jungle from Valo, is not a team to be trifled with, and I expect now that they are getting some of their games in, I expect to see them only improve from here on out. And with that, I think that's all KingFsher and I have for you. Big thank you as well to iNooblet, who was our observer today. I've been Anthony Malum, and we will see you next time on the Smite Draft League.